Number 34. Here we go. As far as the two things that you're not allowed to use as reasons. So the two reasons that cannot be used are side-side angle and angle, angle, angle. Those are the ones that you are not allowed to use. Ones that you can use are side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse leg. This one is for right triangles only. Did that just zoom in a ton? Yes, of course it did. Awesome. Sorry about that. Do you guys want me to go through number 34? 41, absolutely I can do 41. If VH, UG, and WI are all medians of the triangle, well, if those are all medians, then that means this point L is the centroid. Medians go from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. So if VH is a median, then UH and HW are the same size. If UG is a median, then GW and VG are the same size. And if WI is a median, then that means that UI and VI are the same size. In addition to that, we learned some relationships that are going on inside the triangle. The length from the centroid to the midpoint is going to be described as an X relationship because the length from the vertex to the centroid is twice as big, so we call that one 2X. Again, the distance from the centroid to the midpoint, that is X. And the distance from the centroid to the vertex is 2X. Centroid to midpoint is X. Centroid to vertex is 2X. So whenever I find out that things are medians or that something is a centroid, I mark my triangles up like this. All right, and then it gives us a little bit more information here. It says WL, so this distance right here, that is a 2X relationship. It says that WL is 12, so 2X equals 12. It says that HL, this right here, is 3. Well, HL, when I look at my triangle, we have that marked as X, so X is 3. And then UG, that is the entire median. This whole thing right here is 27. Well, if UL is 2X and LG is X, how would we describe the distance from U to G? 3X. So I would have 3X equals 27. All right, so let's go through here and see which pieces they want me to find. They want me to find WI. That's right here. The other side of that would be WL. They told me that WL was 12. So since WL is 12, and that's a 2X, divide both sides by 2. And I get that X is 6. When I look on my triangle, WI WI is that whole median right there. So I have to take the little piece, x, and I have to multiply it by 3. WI is equal to 3x. So that would be 3 times 6. So WI is 18. All right, LV. Let's go find that one. LV is this bit right here. That's what they want me to find. HL, this bit right here, they told me was 3. So if HL is 3 and HL is my X relationship, then that means that LV, which is a 2X relationship on the picture, would be 2 times 3. So LV would be 6. And then UL. They want me to find UL, which is this bit right here. They told me that UG was 27, which is that whole median. That is a 3x. So 3x equals 27. Divide both sides by 3, I get that x is 9. And this piece that they've asked me to find, UL, that is marked in the picture as a 2x. So 2 times 9, which is 18, yes. All right. What else off the review would you guys like to see? Number 7? Absolutely. Let's go and look at number 7, back towards the beginning. First thing it tells me is that angles M and N are complementary, and complementary means adds to 90. If that's one of those vocab words that you struggle to remember, you're like, I know it means either 90 or 180, but you can't remember which, that's something that should go on your cheat sheet. So I have the measurement of angle M plus the measurement of angle N is equal to 90 degrees. Tells me the measurement of angle M is 38 less than. When I see less than, it means I'm going to subtract 38 from whatever comes after it. So I'm going to let the measurement of angle N be represented by X. And the measurement of angle M is 38 less than that. So that would be X minus 38. So I'm going to come over here to my original equation and we're going to substitute that in. Instead of angle M, we're going to put X minus 38. Instead of the measurement of angle N, we're going to put X equals 90. Combine my two like terms here, X and X. That'll combine to give me 2X. So 2X minus 38 equals 90. Then I add 38 to both sides. We get 128. And then we divide both sides by 2. And I get that X is 64. Well, we said that angle N is whatever X is. So angle N would be 64 degrees. Measurement of angle M is 38 less than that, so that would be 64 minus 38. What is 64 minus 38? (26). So the measurement of angle M is 26 degrees. And at the end, you can double check. We said they were complementary, so they should add up to be 90. And 26 and 64 do add up to give us 90. Yes. Number 2? 32, absolutely. Number 32. Here we go. In triangle ABC, the measure of angle C is 16 more than triple the measure of angle A. They did not tell me how big angle A is. So for the measure of angle A, I'm going to represent that with an X. C is 16 more than triple, so I'm going to add 16 to 3 times whatever comes after that. Triple the measure of angle A. And I'm letting X stand in for that. So the measure of angle C would be 3X plus 16. And then it tells me that the measure of angle B is 82 degrees. We have to use our triangle sum theorem here. Triangle sum theorem tells me when I add all 3 angles in a triangle, so angle A plus angle B plus angle C, it adds up to 180 degrees. Well, in the place of angle A, we said we're going to replace that with X because we don't know how big angle A is. I know angle C is 16 more than 3 times that. In the place of angle B, I can put 82 degrees. I can bring down my addition sign too that goes in between those. In the place of angle C, we're going to put 3X plus 16. Bring down my equals to 180. Now we're going to combine some like terms. I'm going to add X and 3X together. That gives me 4X. And then I'm going to add 82 and 16 together. What is 82 plus 16? 98. So I have 4X plus 98 equals 180. Subtract 98 from both sides. What is 180 minus 98? 82. 4X equals 82. Divide both sides by 4. What is 82 divided by 4? How much? 20.5. Right, we said that the measurement of angle A was equal to X. So this would be equal to 20.5 degrees. Measurement of angle C is 3X minus 16. So we do 3 times 20.5 minus 16. What is 3 times 20.5? 61.5. And then minus 16? Oh, sorry, 16 more. I am so sorry. That should be plus. Thank you for catching my mistake. We're adding those. I am so sorry about that. 61 plus 16. 77.5. Scoot all of this up here. Measurement of angle C is 77.5 degrees. How big was angle B again? Measurement of angle B was 82 degrees. Are any of our angles the same size? No. So that would make this what kind of triangle if none of the angles are the same? Close. That's when two of my angles are the same. Scalene. So this is another one that you might want to write down on your cheat sheet if you can ever remember how to spell these or which one goes with which. Scalene, none of the angles are the same size. Isosceles, two angles are the same size, so two sides would be the same size. And on an equilateral triangle, all three angles are the same size, all three sides are the same size. In an equilateral triangle, the angles are always going to be 60 because they have to be the same and they have to add up to 180. Okay, so this is scalene. Now let's classify it by the angles. Do we have any right angles here? Then it's not a right triangle. Do we have any obtuse angles, anything bigger than 90? I have 82. It's an acute triangle, so it's scalene and acute. Because none of those angles are more than 90. What else would you guys like to see? What other problems on the review would you guys like to see me work through? $38? Absolutely. Number 38, complete the two-column proof. Given information goes in our first box here because it tells me the reason that is that it's given. So D is the midpoint of FH. And FE is congruent to GH. Let's see if that last one is marked on here. FE, well, here's FE, is congruent to GH. So these two are the same size. D, oh, sorry, it doesn't say congruent. I wrote congruent, and it says what instead? It says parallel. I am so sorry. FE is parallel to GH. Here's parallel. I am so sorry. That does not mean the same thing as congruent. If D is the midpoint of FH, then what do I know? FD and DH are congruent. FD is congruent to DH. How did we know that? Midpoint. That's our definition of midpoint. How can I use the parallel information? What'd you say? Form a Z. We're going to make our Z shape here. And when I make that Z shape, it lets me find what special angle pair. Alternate interior angles, yes. So I can make a Z that goes this way. Oh, come on. So I can mark these alternate interior angles. I could say that angle D, sorry, not angle D, angle F is congruent to angle H. I could make a different Z. I can still use FE right here and GH right here, only I could make the Z go this way. And then I see angle E and angle G are congruent. Both of those I'm using alternate interior angles theorem. Is there anything on the picture that I'm allowed to mark without it coming from my given information? Vertical angles. So right here at D, I can mark these as being congruent. So angle FDE is congruent to angle GDH by my vertical angles theorem. And now I can come down here at the end. What they wanted me to show was that triangle FDE is congruent to triangle HDG. And I can show that that's true two different ways. I can use angle, side, angle, using the vertical angle. Or I can use angle, angle, side. I can do it either way. Angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. On the alternate interior angles, if you only named one of them and you did your vertical angles, you could do angle, side, angle. If you did your two sets of alternate interior angles and you did not do the vertical angles, then you can do angle, angle, side, and you could have completed this proof in one step less. What else would you guys like to see? Number 40? Absolutely. Find the values of x and y. All right, so I notice inside this triangle, we have a 60-degree angle right here. And then we have BC that is marked congruent to AC. So what kind of triangle are we looking at if I have two sides that are the same size? Isosceles. An isosceles angle has two sides that are the same, and it also has two angles that are the same. They have to be across from those sides. So this angle down here, angle A, and this angle up here, angle B. Those have to be the same size. I don't know how big either one of them is, but they have to be the same. So I'm going to call that, okay, so let's say measurement of angle B, sorry, A, plus measurement of angle B, plus the measurement of angle C. That has to add up to 180. That's my triangle sum theorem. Angle A, I don't know how big angle A is, so I'm just going to call this question mark, because I don't know. I mean, I have that expression down there, but I want to set it equal to a number. So I'm just going to put a question mark in right here for now. Plus, however big angle A is, angle B is the exact same size. And I do know how big angle C is. That's 60 degrees. Equals 180. I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. What is 180 minus 60? 120. So I have 2 question marks equal to 120 degrees. Well, if they have to be the same size, how big are both of them? 60. So the measurement of angle A is 60 degrees, and the measurement of angle B is also 60 degrees. So what kind of triangle are we actually looking at here? Equilateral. All 3 angles are 60 degrees. They're all the same size. So all my sides are the same size. So that means not only is BC congruent to AC, but it's also congruent to AB. Now I can find X. So I would say that AB is congruent to BC. That means the measurement or the length of AB is equal to the measurement of the length of BC. AB is 2x minus 1, so I'm going to substitute that in. BC is 3x minus 7, so I'm going to substitute that in. Subtract 2x from both sides. So I have negative 1 equals x minus 7. And then I add 7 to both sides. And I get 6 for x. To find y, well, I know that angle A is 60 degrees, so I can do 4y plus 12 is equal to 60. Subtract 12 from both sides. What's 60 minus 12? 48, so 4y is equal to 48. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and I get that y is 12. Couple different ways I could have approached this problem. Instead of using question marks for angles A and B, since I knew they had to be the same size because they're across from my congruent sides, I could have put 4y plus 12 and 4y plus 12 in, and I could have used that to find y first. I'm stuck still then in finding x. So at that point, I would have had to know to put my value for y back into that angle to see how big it was, so that I knew how big angles A and B were. And I could have found that way that angle A was 60, so angle B also had to be 60 to get my equilateral triangle and set my 2 sides equal. That would have been another approach that would have arrived at the exact same answers. What else would you guys like to see? Yes? Y I said equal to 60. Because remember, we said that angles A and B had to be the same size. So we put question marks in for those. And then I knew that this angle down here was 60 degrees. So then I subtracted that from both sides, and I divided it by 2 because those 2 angles had to be the same size. That's how I figured out it had to be 60. And so I could take the 4y plus 12 and set it equal to 60 degrees. What else would you guys like to see? I probably have time for one more today. Yes. Did you have one in mind? No? Okay. Did you have one in Aisha? 18? Absolutely. Number 18. Find the value of the variables in each figure. So in part A, I noticed the 2 angles that have x in them. These are corresponding angles. They're in matching corners. They're both in the lower right. And corresponding angles are congruent. So I can take their measurements and set them equal. So I have 10x is equal to 2x plus 80. And then to solve this for x, I need to subtract 2x from both sides. So I get 8x equals 80. Divide both sides by 8, and I get that x is 10. To find y, I have to recognize that these two angles form a linear pair. And linear pair angles are supplementary. So I add them together and set them equal to 180. Y plus 3 plus 2x plus 80 is equal to 180. And we just figured out that x was 10. So I have y plus 3 plus 20 plus 80 equals 180. Combine my three like terms together here to get 103. And then I subtract 103 from both sides. And I get that y is 77. On part B, the two angles that have x in them, this one here and this one up here, those are both outside angles. Those are exterior angles, and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So these are alternate exterior angles. And alternate exterior angles are congruent, so I can set those expressions equal. 7x minus 4 is equal to 6x plus 2. Get my x's to the same side first, so subtract 6x from both sides. That gives me x minus 4 equals 2. And then I add 4 to both sides. I get that x is 6. And then I look at the angle that has y in it, and I notice that these two angles are vertical angles, which are also a pair of congruent angles. So I can set those equal to each other. So I have 7x minus 4 is equal to 2y plus 6. We just found that x was 6, so 7 times 6 minus 4 equals 2y plus 6. What is 7 times 6? 42. 42 minus 4 equals 2y plus 6. 42 minus 4 is 38 equals 2y plus 6. Subtract 6 from both sides, and I get 32 is equal to 2y. Divide both sides by 2, and I get 16 for y. That is where I'm going to stop for today because I want to make sure that everybody knows where the answer key is, and I also want to have the opportunity to pass back your tests from last week so you guys can see how you did on those before they hit Skyward later today.